use it? Well, the first thing I want to mention is the 1-4-5. You know, we talk about that a lot here at Active Melody. I talk about with country songs, with blues songs. It's just your typical format, bluegrass, where, you know, a song has a 1 chord, a 4 chord, and a 5 chord. Well, you can use the circle of fifths to very quickly identify what your 1-4-5 is. For example, if we were to look in the key of C, we're going to start right at the top just because it's easiest to see. You start with a C. If you look one space to the left, that's your 4 chord. And if you look one space to the right, that's your 5 chord. So very quickly I can determine my 1, my 4, and my 5 chord just by looking at the circle. And as another example, let's say I wanted to play a blues in the key of E and I wanted to know what the chords are. I just find E on the outer circle, and that's my 1 chord. If I look one space to the left, that's my 4 chord, which is an A. And if I look one space to the right, that's my 5 chord, which is a B. So it's just a very quick and easy way to find your 1-4-5. Now what if I wanted to find the 1-4-5 in the key of C sharp? And I'm looking on this circle and I'm not seeing a C sharp anywhere. Where is it? And that's, you know, in the guitar world, we always talk about things in sharps. We kind of tend to ignore flats. But in theory world, you wouldn't really refer to that key as being C sharp. You would say it's a D flat. Now it's the same note, but it's just in how you refer to it. Just to explain what that is, if you don't know sharps and flats, if this is my A note and I go up 1, that's an A sharp, right? And if this is my B note, I can go down 1 and I'll be playing that same note. That's a B flat. So there's a B flat and an A sharp are the same note. So that's how you can use the circle to really quickly find your 1-4-5. All right, let's move on. Let's find another good use for it. What if I wanted to find a relative minor? Some of you know what that is, some of you don't. I'll explain what it is in just a minute, but this is where we're going to start using that inner circle now. The inner circle has minor chords. You can see the little small m, that means minor. So for the key of C, the relative minor is A minor. And you can look on the circle and see what I'm talking about. Right below C is the A minor. So the relative minor for G is E minor. All right, so this is in the key of A. We're going to have an A chord. And then we're going to go to the relative minor, which is the F sharp minor. And you can look on your circle of fifths and see that F sharp minor is the relative minor. But watch this. I'm just going to play the A major scale. Even over the F sharp minor it works. Here's the F sharp minor. So you can see how that works. You take the same scale and it works between the 2 chords. That's why it's called a relative. Key of C, for example. Let's say I want to write a song in the key of C and I want to know which chords I can use in the key of C. The first thing I would do is I would find C on the circle, on the outer circle, and then I would go one space to the left. Remember, that's our 4 chord, and we're going to actually let that be our starting point as we go clockwise around the circle. And this will make more sense as we get to it. So if we're playing in the key of C, we go one space to the left, which is an F, and you'd count 7 spaces clockwise. So you'd say F, C, G, D, A, E, B. Those notes are your chords that are going to work together in the key of C. Now, there's a formula for this, though. The first 3, remember your 1, 4, and 5, those are major chords. The next grouping, which would be your D, A, and E, those are minor chords. So the first 3 are major, the second 3 are minor, and then that last one is the diminished chord. And so in this case, it would be a B diminished if we're looking in the key of C. We're going to ignore that, though. We're just going to push that to the side. All right, let me just mention one other use for these notes. Yes, these are the notes in the chord family for C, but these are also the notes in the C major scale. So in a C major scale, you have a C, F, G, D, A, E, and B. Now, they're not put in the right order, so you always have to put them in alphabetical order to make it make sense. So it's obviously A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it repeats A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now, you would start it on a C, so it would be C, D, E, F, G, A, B. That would be the order for playing the major scale in the key of C. But now you can use that formula to move anywhere around the circle to find the major scale for whatever key you want. So this is the traditional way that I just showed you of how to find the chords that fit together within a key. And all of those chords would work well together if you were writing a song in the key of C. But there's an easier way, and that's to look at it more like a piece of pie. So if we look at the outer ring and the inner ring, what you see is you have a D minor, an A minor, and an E minor on that inner circle, Well, those are your three minor chords. So you've got the three major chords on the top, and then you've got the three minor chords on the bottom. So whatever's in the top row in the middle, that's the key that you're in. So in this case, it makes it very easy to say if I was writing a song in the key of C, I've got a C chord, an F chord, a G, an E minor, an A minor, and a D minor, and any of those chords are going to work well together. So let's shift this over to the key of D, for example, just to give another example. If we were wanting to write a song in the key of D and we wanted to know which chords work together, using this formula, we can say we know a D will work, a G, an A, an E minor, a B minor, and an F sharp minor. So I can look at that chart and very quickly get an idea for which chords are going to play well together. Now it's up to you, obviously, in your own creativity to figure out how to organize them. There's no formula for that, but those are chords that are all going to sound really good together. All right, so now let's add one more layer of value to this. So let's go back to the key of C. And remember, we've already talked about some of the numbers in the number system, the 1, 4, 5. So our one chord in the key of C, obviously C is your 1. The 1 to the left on that outer circle, which is the F, that's your 4 chord, and then the 1 space to the right is your 5 chord. So that's your 1, 4, and 5. Now if we look at the second layer, to the far left, that's your 2 chord. To the far right, that's your 3 chord. And then right in the middle of that second layer, that's your 6 chord. Remember, your 6 chord is your relative minor chord. So now you have the number system. If I were to say to you, we're going to be playing a song in the key of C, and we're going to start it on the 2 chord. You know that that's a D minor. So you can take that number formula and apply it to any of these, as long as you put the numbers in the right spaces. So let's switch it up and give another example. Let's say we're playing in the key of G. G would be your 1 chord. Your 4 chord would be 1 to the left, so that's a C. Your 6 chord, which would be your relative minor, that's your E minor. Your 3 chord is a B minor, and then your 2 chord is an A minor, all in the key of G, for example. If we were writing a song in the key of G and we wanted to borrow chord outside of the chord family for G, we could look at a G minor. So I just look at that second layer, I find the G minor, and I now have the chord family that I can pick from. So any of these chords would be a nice borrowed chord to work with my key of G. So that's just a very simple way of looking at borrowed chords and how you might go about doing that. The other thing I should just mention on minor keys is if you wanted to write a song in a minor key, you just use that middle layer. You find your minor key. Let's say you wanted a song in A minor. You find your A minor, and then now I use that as my center point, and I use the same chords that I would use in the key of C. Those are the same chords that would work in the key of A minor.